Hello, welcome. Zero's a shadow. Hello, welcome. While we're waiting for the stream to start, I'm gonna make the FreeBSD build. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday to those who celebrate. You seriously not done yet? There we go. Alright, the way I have to make these FreeBSD builds is I rent these expensive servers, and then I try to use them for only 1 hour. I think I need maybe like root at. Alright, if I can remember how this goes. Oh, is the audio quiet? Here, let me adjust that. Thanks for letting me know. I'm just gonna see if how the volume's looking. I think it's mostly fine. Let me check one more thing. I did notice that my mic always keeps getting turned down. Oh yeah, this keeps getting turned down. Okay, the volume's gonna go up really high, so brace yourself. This should be pretty much at 100. Okay, how we doing? Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I don't know why that volume slider keeps going down. I never turn it down. I only ever turn it up. I don't get it. What do I need? Vim, CMake, Samurai. Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. Do I accept infrastructure donations? Yeah, just go to ziglang.org/ZSF. We're a nonprofit. Just click the sponsor button. This thing works pretty well. You can even do crypto if that's your thing. And this will go towards infrastructure, but also it will go towards people working on the project. So you can't, well, you're trying to give donations only for infrastructure. That's called restricted donations. We only accept unrestricted donations. So you have to let us also use that money to like pay people to work on Zig. Oh yeah, no, I don't like I don't like to accept just like free stuff because it really sucks. You know what's better than free stuff is free money. Free money is great. I can use money to pay people. It's so good. Money is OP. Gotta get money. See the dollar bill right here? Money. Okay, what am I doing? I'm trying to build Zig for everybody. Yeah, it's just so much easier when we actually control our own hardware. Like when we switched from using managed actions to having our own, like just Hetzner bare metal servers and just doing our own admin on it, it's been so much nicer. It also puts the incentives in the right place, you know? Like at one point in time, we were getting some free AWS credits, and then after like a year, those expired. And then basically we had a choice. We could beg Amazon for more money, which is just like shit, Nobody wants to do that. Or we could just pay it ourselves. Or we could reduce infrastructure costs. And I didn't do it immediately, but I picked the last option. So at some point in time, our AWS bill was at like $600 a month. Now it's down to $10 a month because it's only like some backup stuff on S3. I might try to get rid of that completely. I just want to make sure my backups are all sorted before I delete the S3 account. But I mean, you see what I mean about the incentives being in the right place, you know? Okay, so let's build this. Let's get this build started before the stream starts, if I can do it. So I probably want CMake generator. Here, let me look at this in a different window, actually. Oh, I need to check out the release as well. There we go. Okay, so I need CMake generator equals ninja. Then I want build. Oh crap, I can't remember what target I use on this one. I think I want x86 64 native. Let's try that. I think this will work. Probably should have done that in screen in case I get disconnected, but I guess we're gonna YOLO it. All right, let's start the stream. So hey, thanks everyone for coming. This is a live stream where today the main agenda item will be merging pull requests. So if anyone is in the chat who has a pull request and they're not afraid of having the spotlight for a moment, let me know and we'll look at it together if you want that. If you don't want that, then just be quiet. And then otherwise, if we don't have anyone in the chat who specifically has pull requests that they've made, then I'll just start going through the ones that look the most mergeable, and we'll just try to get through them. And then I'll also will take requests. But let's try to prioritize if anyone happens to be here who wants to get their code reviewed on the stream. In the meantime, I'm also just making a build of Zig 0.14 for FreeBSD because that's missing from the download page. Oh, hey, good to see you. Yeah, okay, we'll definitely look at this one. Yeah, and then remind me if I forget about this because this is $1 an hour. So if we can get this done in, an hour or two, that'll. I don't want to forget about this and rack up a big bill. Wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh shit, I didn't destroy that instance. No, this is a 32 VPS. It's an expensive. I just got an expensive one because I'm only going to rent it for like an hour. Okay, so yeah, let's look at this one then. That's a good place to start. And then, yeah, we'll come back. So let's start going through these pull requests. Oh wait, is this one I already have open? Of course, yeah, it's just the browser tab I had open already. Okay. Okay, this is a great one to look at. So I will say this. Robin told me recently that he kind of is giving up on the idea of using Zig for shaders. I think that's bullshit. I don't like that attitude. We're gonna make it work. Zig's gonna be a good language for shaders. So I'm gonna push forward on this. I'm gonna unblock you, Ellie. I'm gonna make sure you can get this stuff done. So don't worry. Let's figure out how to make this work. I don't think I'm not gonna be able to click the merge button on this, obviously, but I can try to unblock you, which is the main goal, right? So if I understand correctly, there's basically a problem that for the SpearV targets, there's a lot of types that we need that might be a little bit difficult to add to the language. So we're kind of thinking maybe we need a way to access those types somehow. So here's a proposal for how to do it. And this idea is you can kind of declare types with inline assembly, which is sounds weird, but I mean ultimately that's kind of what you're doing with this BRV, so it's not that weird. Global assembly won't allow I/O. I see. Oh, we have a counter proposal here? Okay, I got to read through this. This is why merging pull requests is difficult, because we're already on the first one and already I have to decide about the language stuff. But okay, let's do it. Let's figure it out, and then we'll just keep an eye on the build here. All right, I guess I'll just read it out loud so we can all follow along. Background: SpearV is a strongly typed IR format like LLVM IR, especially before LLVM removed pointy types. Most operations need to also be ascribed with their result type. Like LLVM IR, it supports the primitive types you'd expect, ints, floats, bools, and also provide the building blocks for composite and custom types, pointers, structs, etc. The problem is that SpearV has additional built-in types for GPU-specific things, for example, samplers and images. Wow, there's a lot of types here. These are required in practical code too, for example, for textures. When returning a type that is or contains, for example, an image to there, the generated SpearV code needs to refer to that image. For OpenCL, there's not much of a problem. They're usually pointers, so we can use opaques. Additionally, SpearV supports optional decorations on types. Okay. Yeah, get flashbanged. For example, a change of a non-trivial way. Array stride decoration can be applied to pointers to set the byte stride. Currently, I'm not completely convinced that these are 100 required from Zig. Required SpearV types. Concurrently, there should be a way to refer to the following types. Some of these are parameterized. See the link to SpearV spec for the parameters that they require. Not all of these are immediately of interest. As far as we can tell, all of these types are opaque. Okay. While the OpenCL spec allows implementation to choose a size, Clang throws an error when we try to use the type and license card to be concrete. Some types are intended to still be used without pointer. For example, to use a cooperative matrix in pseudocode. That looks like a value type, okay. Even though it's an opaque type, they're still allowed to be used like this, similar to bools. Okay. Okay. The counterproposal, or rather null hypothesis, is to simply add the required types as Zig built-ins. The main advantage is that it's a little bit more straightforward to implement. The drawbacks are that there's a lot of baggage to keep around for all the other backends. I don't like that. It's also a lot less flexible in contrast to the original proposal. After some additional thought, I still think that the original proposal works better. Okay, so Robin's changing his mind. He actually likes original proposal. Another alternative I thought of is a special SpearV assembly instruction that allows us to override a type during linking. We'd specify a dummy type during cogen and then patch it out, for example. The main advantage of this is that we can also create non-opaque types should we need it. It's also easier to implement and doesn't require any language extensions. Just a temporary SpearV instruction that is removed after linking. It does, however, feel like much bigger. I think after reading all this, I think I have a counter proposal. Are you still paying attention, Ali? Okay, so let me look at your pull request, and then I wanna make a suggestion. Okay, so you've come up with a built-in SpearV type. Let's try and find some example code to look at here. Okay, this could be good. Built in. Yeah, I want to see. Okay, perfect, perfect. Yes. This is very similar to what I was thinking. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Yeah, let's look at the example code here. Yeah, this is what you're telling me to look at, right? Yeah. Okay. And they're all kind of opaque, aren't they? So what about... Okay, so here's a question for you. I like that this data basically lives in here. I'm thinking... So this is basically so that you can pass as the parameter to the new built-in, right? Okay, but what if there was no built-in? What if you just added all of the SpearV types to standard.builtin? So for example, let me make this slightly bigger. And oh wow. Sorry, let me screw with my formatting for a second here. Okay. Okay, so we have, for example, sampler, image, blah, 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 blah. What if we just added a new namespace inside standard.builtin, and it was called SpearV? Could even be like a sub file or something like that. And then we just have pub const sampler equals opaque. We have, let's get one that has some decorations. Image is a good one. Okay, so then we have, well, I guess this is like how you construct the type, right? And then we do opaque, I guess. And then we need to make that a different type, so we do something like this. This forces uniqueness of the struct based on different values passed in here. Make sense? Okay, what if we did this? So then, because these are all basically opaques, you don't even need a built-in, like you don't need an @SpearV type, right? So you could rewrite this behavior example with, well, there's no actual behavior here, is there? But anyway, point is, this namespace is available to backends. So in the SpearV backend, you can then access all of these types, and you can check if something equals one of these types. And you can define this however you want. So, well, you could even, probably something like this would be what you want, I think. Or, I mean, I guess you could even just do, you know, something like this. I don't I don't care. It doesn't matter. The point is, the backend can access all of this data, and the other backends, like x86, will just ignore it and won't need any changes. You see what I mean? And then also, even if you have concrete types, like what was the example? Matrix or something? Like, fine, you know, define a matrix. If you need to, if it has an ABI, right? You can define it here with an ABI. And then I think it works fine, right? I think the backend just knows that this lowers to whatever it's supposed to lower to. Is that all? Am I missing anything? Is there something that this strategy would not be able to solve? Or maybe a different question, Ali. Does this unblock you? Do you feel like you know how to move forward on this? And if you go down this approach, I will back you. I'll help you make your arguments with Matthew and Robin. Yeah. Okay. Try it out. Let me know if you run into any problems. I think that's a good path forward. And yeah, don't let Snectron. I think he got temporarily discouraged, but we gotta just like shake him and be like, "Come on, Robin, it's gonna be great. Like, don't give up." You know. It's my fault because he keeps like trying to do stuff, and I keep just being unavailable. So he's been kind of not being able to have. You know how it goes. You know, if sometimes you try to ask me something and I don't respond for a long time. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, so I think that one is done. We didn't merge it, but I think we at least unblocked Ali here. So cool. I didn't do anything. Okay. All right, well, let's close that tab finally for a little bit. I'm sure it'll come right back. He left Vulkan for me and prefers to focus on OpenCL. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Everyone has their own points of interest. Oh, a short one. I love short ones. Thank you, Casey Banner. Let's see how I do this. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, whatever. 23165. All right, how's our build doing, by the way? Okay, I think we're in the second phase. Nice. Okay. Ensure that external structs have the layout resolved and pointer. Oh, yeah, this looks pretty reasonable. Is the build using all the cores? Probably. How do I see? Is HTOP a thing? There. Oh, you're right. It's not using all the cores. What the fuck? Ah. God damn it. How do I make it use all the cores? I thought I Yeah, I installed Samurai. Oh, crap. It's called like Samu or something. That's really annoying. What did I do last time? I guess I just used make. How much RAM do I have? A lot? Nah, that's not enough though. Shit. Alright, I'm gonna start over. Sorry. So I thought this was gonna solve my problem, but it didn't. So how do I do that? I think I just gotta do... What the hell did I do last time? I gotta screen it too, yeah. Okay, we're on screen. Is there a way to get ninja? Oh, I can just have ninja? Oh, okay. I don't know what I was thinking about samurai. That was so dumb. What was I thinking? Okay, it's going a lot faster now. That's better. Okay, good call. Good call. Oh yeah, I wanted to say something snarky too. Is someone asked if it's like a downside that LLM support must be very weak? I think it's an upside because then all your collaborators are not using LLMs. So then you're actually working with people who know what the fuck they're doing. It's a feature. All right, let's take a look here. QC banners fix. Is this like a crash or something? Okay, good. Ooh, fixing a compiler crash. That is a nice. These are my favorite ones to merge. Ooh, and it goes in the bug fix release. Function pointer. Okay, so we call resolve layout in pointer field of an extern because it's going to be needed below. We add a new behavior test. Nice. Great, yeah, and the fact that it didn't break any other behavior tests makes me fine with that. And it's covered, so if we end up trying to move this somewhere else, we're going to catch it. Great, yeah, easy one. Thanks, Casey Banner. By the way, one of the things that I'm hoping to do soon, I haven't gotten back into working on fuzzing yet. That's something else we could look at today. But we should be able to catch this kind of bug with fuzzing, because the idea is that we can basically generate test cases like this. So the way fuzzing works is you get random bytes, and you convert those random bytes into a test run. And so what you can do is you come up with a Smith. So that's where you interpret these random bytes as a like zig AST or something. Or you can, a Smith is a general purpose idea, but if a zig Smith would be like, given random bytes, constructs a valid AST of zig code. So then what you're doing there is you're eliminating like all these cases that would not be interesting to test, because you're always testing a valid AST. And so that's like one component. And then the other component is what the fuzzer's doing. So the fuzzer's not just picking randomly. It's doing a genetic algorithm. And if you've never played with a genetic algorithm, you got to stop watching my stream and go play with those right now. They're super fun. The idea of a genetic algorithm is you have a fitness function, and you use that to guide your random inputs. So it's not, you start random, then you do a bunch of tests, and each of these tests, you can ask a question like, how fit was it? So even if it doesn't, even if it's not like very good, you know that one was better than the other. So then you just start taking these like mutations. It's really like evolution, right? You take these mutations. Yeah, this is a good point. There's you can visualize it where they generate cars, they race on the track, and then they just start kind of like using that to pick the next generation of cars. Anyway, the question is, well, what do you use for your fitness function? The way that fuzzing works is it instruments your code so that when the tests are run, the fuzzer knows how far did it get in your code, or more specifically, what was your code coverage for that run. And so increasing code coverage at all, even a little bit, even if it just gets a little further, that's higher fitness. So using that, it can actually guide the inputs. So if we combine a Zig Smith with a fuzzer, which has a good, a genetic algorithm behind it, we're actually going to be able to generate cases like this, and then hopefully just eliminate this entire class of bugs before people find them. So that way we don't have to get people reporting bugs. We don't have to get people like Casey Banner wasting their time. I appreciate it, but doing these bug fixes, we can just get them all done in one, batch. It's like batching. Batching's more efficient. If you batch developer time, it's also more efficient. So it's coming. The end of this category of bugs is coming, I hope. At least I have a plan to attempt it. Yeah, eliminates the no one tried this yet class of bugs. Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for that. Feels good to actually merge one after not merging the last one, so appreciate that. How's the conversation going here? Okay, I don't see any more suggestions. I think I answered this question. Oh, Squeak. What's up, Squeak? You got one? Okay. Let's take a look at these two. So we have 23265. Get N for early return comparison. Addresses the issue described in here. First time contributor. Okay. Okay, so getEnv is slow. Why is getEnv slow? Let's look at getEnv. Okay, can't call it on Windows. If you link libc, we iterate over environ. Okay. Can't do it on WASI. This function's got all sorts of problems. If we're using a backend that's not very far along, you just get null. Wow, that sucks. There's an issue here. Okay. getMZ seems reasonable if you link libc. I think you would like a tiling window manager. I've tried them. They're too hard to pick up. I'm fine with what I got. I don't struggle with my windows when I'm not streaming. When I'm streaming, you're just watching me kind of learn the situation. Okay, so okay, so I see the problem. I mean, obviously the implementation sucks, but I think it's a limitation of the API. So let's see what the solution is here. Oh, it's still iterating though? Not a great solution, is it? It's still searching. Still kind of sucks. I don't know. I don't think this is a good solution. It seems like maybe we should just delete the function. The new implementation matches muscle. Okay, well that's fine. Yeah, okay. I mean, another option is just delete this function. And then if you want it, you have to get all of them. into a map and then just start using that. So then if a function wanted to access the environment variables, you would pass it the map, you know? But I get it. People want to access environment variables when they're deep inside the stack and they want to pretend that they don't actually take the environment variables as a parameter. And then this is probably just calling into the POSIX thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's just calling into that one. Iterating is fast? Okay. So, all right, so Squeak, are you saying that this new implementation looks good to you? Index of scalar equals is not equal to null. Wait, what? Oh, I see. So, wait, what? Okay, so if the key has equals in it, then you get null? Should that be a assertion, maybe? Why are you asking for an environment variable with an equal sign in it? I guess that leaves room for an assertion later. I guess this basically functions as an assertion, but it's a little safer. All right. Libcs disagree on how to handle it. Yeah, well, I mean, it either needs to be asserted or it needs to be turned null. Or you could do something crazy. Okay, well, let's look at the next thing. So, okay, let me hide these comments. It's distracting me. How do I hide these comments? Forgot. There we go. Okay, so before we're just basically scanning until the equal, but now if the line is longer than the key length, we break. So it's a little optimization there. And this is the same code, basically. Okay. While it's not the null terminator, if we reach the end of the key, done. If the character doesn't match, done. Oh, I see. So this is just scanning too far. This is just, it's just doing a little less searching. I don't expect this to be like a lot faster, but I guess it's a better implementation, so that's fine. Okay, seems fine. So for people who aren't familiar with this, I generally do, if the commit history is really clean, I'll do a merge. But if it's something small like this, I expect it to be one commit. Everyone does, so that's what we're going to do. That's also a behavior change. The write-up is lacking description of what it does. It's just referencing something, so let's add that in. There. Null return is not a behavior change. Got it. Thank you. Okay, good. Thanks for guiding me through that one, Ryan. Okay, and then you said you had a follow-up one to that, right? Did that close this? This can be a bug fix, I think. Okay, so now we're looking at 23272. Same thing for Windows. Cool. A little faster for getting environment variables. Oh wow, you really put a bunch of work into this. Nice. This is good. Nice. Oh, it's already been reviewed by LXRP. I don't even need to look at it. I'll just click merge right now. I'll look at it just to appreciate it, okay? Wow, beautiful. Okay, yep. Well, we got a standalone test for it. I guess that makes sense because you got to pass in the environment variables. Nice. Good work. Let's see which kind of commit, what kind of merge this is going to be. Looks like a pretty clean commit history, I would say. So let's give that one a merge commit. Thanks. Great comment. Okay, great suggestion. Anyone else have any more pull request merging suggestions? I also have things I need to go into, but if anyone else wants me to look at one. That was a gorgeous ass diff. Hey, you got one here? Okay, great. There we go. Some small fixes. Let's take a look. 23061. Okay. Oh, you're the one who's been working on the WebAssembly backend. Nice. Yes, I've been meaning to try to be more on top of your contributions. So I'm sorry again for letting this sit for over a month. Oof. Okay. So let's see. I'm thinking probably let's look at these one commit at a time, yeah? So sometimes what I'm doing when I'm doing pull request merging, I'll let you in on a little secret, is I can't always take the time to take responsibility for well, I do take responsibility. I can't always take the time to fully understand the code that's being merged. Now, if it's a new contributor, I will do that. I don't merge new contributors' code unless I fully understand the diff. However, when it is someone, I guess I would call them an up-and-coming contributor, someone who's landed already a few nice changes before, they start to build trust. And in this case, Verigo has started to build trust in the WebAssembly backend. So what I'm looking for is signs that I can continue to trust this work. Like, are they being diligent? Are they adding tests like this? You know, and as the trust builds and builds and builds, I will start to be a lot more relaxed on the merging, and I'll give quick merges, and I'll even, you know, let the person kind of build up a little technical debt because I know they're going to come back around and address it later. You know, they've built up that trust. So here, I'm happy to say this is kind of one of the ones where I'm just looking to confirm that my hunch is true, that I can trust this person to do good work. So let's start going through these commits one by one. Okay, so we're going to work on the WebAssembly backend. We're seeing some code gen changes. And then all I want to see is just some corresponding behavior tests to make sure that it works. Great. Passing. Love to see that. Easy. Enable some already working tests. It's good. This is just some, keep that stuff up. Okay, now we're fixing count leading zeros. I like the left sidebar, sorry. Okay, and now that one passes, looking good. Yep. Clean mem copy, fix another bug in aggregator init for optionals. Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. For those who don't know, the WebAssembly memcopy instruction requires the pointer to be a valid pointer, even if the length is 0. So in the WebAssembly backend, we have to check the length because according to the Zig language and according to LLVM, so LLVM has to do the same thing, memcopy with undefined length 0 is allowed. So unfortunately, we have to add checks. I'm unhappy with this. I think it was a bad call on WebAssembly to do that. In fact, I'm so mad about it that I, in protest, added a custom CPU attribute, non-trapping bulk memory len 0. This is not an official CPU feature in the WASM spec. This is a Zig CPU feature that I added because I think it's so dumb that you can't memcopy undefined with length 0. So if you set non-trapping bulk memory len 0 equals true, then Zig will say, great, I don't have to add length 0 checks on memcopy. And we enable this for our own WASM2C bootstrapping compiler. So when we, so our stage 1 WASM kernel here, zig1.wasm, is built with this CPU flag on because we don't need those stupid checks. Sorry, just a short rant. Okay, great. So that one's fixed now. This is looking really, really good. More fixes, more behavior tests enabled. So what's this one? Error unions. Handling undefined better. Oh, nice. You added the safety there. Okay, yeah. Do our safety checks work for WebAssembly? I think maybe they do. So, what was his name? Verigo. I don't know if you are aware of this yet, but we have these safety checks you can run. Build test test safety, I think. That's a funny way to put it. Test runtime safety. Okay, what the hell are my build steps? Test. Oh, they're just test cases. They're just test cases. I think you did know about that already. We moved them into there. I think if you do enable WASM time, I think that they run. So I'm not going to sit here and run this whole thing, but I think that includes WebAssembly. I'm not 100% sure. But if you look at test cases safety, all of these tests, they're basically executables that trigger a panic, and then you're expected. Oh, yeah. These are definitely going to run with WASM time. So the panic handles it and exits with 0, aka success, if we get the safety panic that we expect. So you should be able to add oh, this syntax is so weird. I'm sorry. We need to fix this to be better. But we should be able to start enabling these safety case tests for WebAssembly. Just FYI, that's the test coverage we can start adding. So I kind of fumbled my way through that explanation, but that's another kind of test besides behavior that we can start to try to pass. Field parent pointer, nice. That's a great trick. What's going on with these A's? Right, it's if it's undefined. Yeah, of course. Good. Somebody tried to come in and say that it should be 0xccccc instead of AAAA, and I didn't like it. What's going on here? Store. Okay, yeah, that seems harmless. Oh, the other job is now complete. Oh, it failed. That's not good. Wait, let's get through this thing and then we'll address the build. Backstore load 120 bits. Very nice. It's coming along. What's the percent of tests passing after this pull request? Yeah, this is great work. I'm really sorry I didn't merge this a long time ago. So let's just merge it right now. Oh, thanks a lot. I'm glad you pointed that out. Okay, all right, we'll get to that one in a second. Let me figure out what's going on with this. Trying to do the FreeBSD build. So I think it got through the first build. Yeah, and then we're failing on the second one. Why are we trying to build table gen the second time? We shouldn't be trying to do that. But it also should work. So why did it fail? Unsupported linker arg dependency file. What? Why is there a dependency file linker arg? Link.d? What even is this? I don't know. I guess I'm just going to report a bug and give up. And we'll get back to this later. Oh wait, I'm in screen, so I have to do the funky screen thing. There we go. All right. I'm going to troubleshoot this later. I don't want to deal with this. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a quick potty break, and then when we come back, we'll do the next pull request merging. Maybe this one. Be right back. Actually, yeah, I'll be right back. There we go. All right. Well, one thing I want to do real quick to celebrate the pull request that we just merged is, and by the way, normally you would need to run this command, ninja install again, because the compiler changed. But in this case, I just happen to know that it's okay to skip that, so I'm gonna rebuild the debug version of the compiler so we can run the WebAssembly behavior tests and see what the difference is. And I'll also do it in the old master here too. Okay, so before we merge that pull request, oh, that's not what I want. What I want is a test command wasm time there. All right, so we were passing 1,754 tests and skipping 291. Let's see what we're doing after merging the pull request. And then meanwhile, let's look at the next one. Okay, so request from KJ4 temp to look at 21601. All right, let's take a look. Support pack structs and reader and writer. This needs to wait until I get my changes done. Okay, next. All right, let's look at this one. 20246. Okay, but first, like I said, let's celebrate what was done in the last one here. Okay, so 1754 passed, 291 skipped, and after this, now we're passing 1791, and we're skipping only 256. Nice progress. Very nice. Why is zig package in Arch Linux not updated? I don't know. You'll have to ask the Arch Linux people. It's not my job. What I do is I always make sure that we cut a new release after LLVM releases, so that way it's easier for packagers to do their job. So I just try to make their jobs easier, but I don't do it for them. Yeah, we're doing pull requests. All right, let's look at Uncle Sizinzna. When is the cross compile for Holy See out? Well, good news. God contacted me privately and told me that Holy See is now no longer blessed, and now Zig is holy. So, no need to cross compile. I'm pretty sure the status on the cough linker is like, it's all kind of bad but needs to be restarted. Sorry. You want to work on it? You want to contribute to it? I could try to work on that on the stream. Get people started. Linker work is something I need to do soon. Although I also need to do fuzzer work. This seems on its face okay, but it is breaking for no reason, really. If I merge with this, it's just going to break everyone's code for no reason. The dot comments are good. The name is a better name. I also agree with Alex RP here. I just don't think this change is worth it. I guess the problem statement is that it's confusing people, which it's a good problem statement. Will this solve it though? Oh damn, these ranch cashews are really good. Well, okay, my other hesitation here is that I'm not even sure if this is good. Like, this is supposed to be some kind of standard. Is it a good standard? I don't know. Maybe we should just delete it. If it's confusing. I mean, look. The alternative is just put this in your code, which is not that hard. Alright, tell you what. Well, hold on. I need to think about this one more time, though. Alright. Alright, I made a decision. Okay, I think that's all I wanted. I should write an article about this because I reference this concept a lot, and I think that people just need somewhere to read about the concept. It's pretty straightforward, but it just takes a minute to explain if you never heard about it before. Yeah, the other problem is that the word preferred suggests that you could override it. But that's not how this thing works, actually. Same thing with requested. Only might be actually a better name. So you would pass in only optimize mode, and that's the only one that you can get. Another option would be like allow release safe, allow release fast, allow release small. Those would all be bools. And then the logic would just notice that if you only had one available, then it changes the target to release. Although it's like kind of annoying that that's also not standard, isn't it? Like maybe it's actually better just to have it always be optimized. And you can pick between debug or the ones that are allowed. I don't know. This is such a tricky thing. I feel really unconfident about this API. All right, sorry, new strategy. All right. Thanks for sending this patch. You always know it's going to get rejected when I start with that sentence. It's sincere, though. It is sincere. See what Casey Bennett, see what everyone else has to say here. So this comment, am I asking a bigger question than this PR is answering? Yes, I absolutely am. Is this good enough? No. Is it better than it is today? Yes. However, it's breaking. So what you don't want to do is break twice, right? So you do have to ask the bigger questions, right? You kind of do have to, like, you don't want to, if it's an implementation, you want to avoid the nirvana fallacy, right? If it's better than status quo, then take it, right? But if it's an API that's going to break a bunch of code, the nirvana fallacy is more like the nirvana contract, you know, like, don't, you got to try to avoid unnecessary carnage. Maybe the default goes in build.zig.zon so that users get a project-defined default when building software. But if you're developing it, you just delete that line and it's back to debug. What? This is the preferred release mode. Okay. Okay. Well, that wasn't easy to do, but sometimes that's the way it goes. It's hard when you change APIs. API changes require a lot of care. I'll take this question before I move on. So what are we gonna do with async? There's this argument about how threads is better than async await. My plan, as it stands today, is that you use async await on top of an IO implementation, which may be backed by threads, or it may be backed by green threads, fibers, if you will, or it may be backed by an eager single-threaded blocking implementation. So you like threads, then you use the threads implementation. Everybody wins. All right, let's see what Bartishka Eric has. 22149. JSON allows stringifying type fields comp time. Oh boy. I don't want to see any more JSON PRs until we actually have good error reporting. That's like the super annoying thing about JSON. Okay, let's take a look though. Type fields comp time. What's the type field? Oh, stringify type info. Okay. Pretty neat. Let's see how messy it is. Oh, type name. No, type name is not good. You shouldn't use it. Sorry. Was that your pull request, by the way? Are you XD branch on GitHub? Gotcha. Okay. Well, at least you can see kind of like where I was at with that. Sometimes, you know, usually people only see the final result, but as you can see, that one was on a knife's edge. I almost was gonna try to move forward with it. I don't know. I think you get the point. Yeah, this is the point. Okay. I like pressing close instead of request changes because I don't really want any changes. I just kind of want the number to go down. So. All right, what's next? 22516. Is this yours, by the way? When you're listing pull requests for me to look at, also tell me, you don't have to, but if you want to, tell me if it's yours too, just so I know. Build ID option. Oh, right. Okay, gotcha. Cool. It's nice also to associate the GitHub usernames with the Twitch usernames. I don't know. Just put that in my esoteric knowledge in my head. Build ID. Okay, what is a build ID? Okay, so it's the linker note GNU build ID section. Okay. So we already had one for Zig itself, and this pull request is trying to generalize that, formalize that. Ooh, and make it always an option. Very interesting. Yeah, so this is kind of the like tug of war between upstream maintainers, like application authors, and distro maintainers. It's interesting, right? Because, for example, distro maintainers want to do things like provide a hardened system where they compile all their packages with hardened malloc and like specific. They want to add like flags to every C compiler invocation that add hardening. Cool. Now you have a hardened system. That's great. But then on the other hand, that's one side of the tug of war, and it's like it's a good use case. It's a good motivation. They're trying to help. Everything checks out. But then on the other hand, you have the application developers, and the application developers happen to choose maybe C or C++, and they choose what build flags, what compiler flags they want to pass for their application, since they're providing you with machine code, and they're offering you an official way to get it. So then, but then what's happening is that those flags that they've chosen for their application are being overridden by flags chosen by the distro maintainer. And maybe that was good. Maybe the application developer wasn't thinking about hardening, and they should have. And so it's a good thing that the distro maintainer, checked their work and solved that problem for them. All that good stuff. But it's also kind of like, it's kind of a turf war, isn't it? Right? It's like, if I don't merge this pull request, then the application developers have more choice over what their executables look like. Do they have the note in there or not? They get to choose. For example, in Zig, we chose by having it as a build option in our build script. If I merge this pull request, then the tug of war goes a little bit towards the distro maintainers, and they get to choose, whoever builds the software gets to choose whether or not these nodes will go into all of the executables created by the build runner. Now, I can already give an example of where this could break something. So, for example, one thing that we use the build system for is testing the linker. Microzig would be another good example. So, for example, with testing the linker, we care about which sections do or don't exist. And so the unexpected existence of this section would make the linker tests fail. So then we could try to make it even more nuanced and add another layer to the negotiation where, the person running the build gets to choose, but then the application developer gets a chance to veto it, But then the distro maintainer always has the final veto because they can patch. They can always patch. So in my opinion, because the distro maintainer can always patch, they don't like it, but they can. It means that they have final say, which means that in the Zig project, the application developer needs the final say because they don't have the final say really. Really, the distro maintainer has the final say. So we give them the final say, and then the distro maintainer actually gets the final say, if that makes sense. That doesn't mean we should or shouldn't do this. That's just kind of like the background history of this problem. So I think I understand everything here. Now, did the pull request give the opportunity for the applications to opt out? Let's find out. This is the compiler. It added more kinds of build IDs. Okay. What even is the build ID used for anyway? Build ID of none. Okay. Why do we need build IDs? Okay, and then what's the default? So the default is builder. It's none. Isn't standard.zig.buildID already have none in it? Yeah, there's already none here. So what's the difference between none and null? So that's a problem. I guess I'll just make that comment. Well, null would mean default, which could default to... Oh, I see. I answered my own question. Okay, so if it's default, then we default to the value passed in. Yeah, null means default. Or passed in to the build runner. So what's that one? That's what I wanted to know. Oh, wait. No, that is the good question. Okay, so the compile one... Oh, this one already has it. Okay, so... Okay, yeah. So this one already has it. And if it's... Oh, it's used to coordinate a stripped binary with its debug symbols. Oh, okay, that does seem useful. So null means default, so that's good, because if the compile one has a default, then we default to the build one. But the build one shouldn't have a null. Yeah, that one should have none. And then I think we just, to avoid the command line being longer than necessary, we just avoid emitting this if it's none. If it's none, then we just don't pass it because we don't have to, because we know it's the default already. So we can save command line argument space. Okay. I think I like this, actually. I think I like it because it's off by default. So, and if the application wants it, they can turn it on. And if the user making the build wants it, they can turn it on. And then the application can still turn it off. So they do have the final say, like I was discussing earlier. I think it's fine. I think this is a fine change. I think I'm happy with this. So let me just do that little review, and then we're good to move on. Let's also just take a moment to consider the API. So this is defaults. Okay, yeah, having a default seems nice. And then you can specify. It defaults to fast if you pass the flag. If you don't pass the flag, then it defaults to none. So I think my only comment is that should be none here, which I can just do while I merge. So let's just merge it then. I'll use, well, I'll show you my workflow when I'm doing a little fix up while I'm merging. Should it be none? If it's null and no build ID is given, no flag is added. You know what? That's actually fine as is, isn't it? Yeah. So, okay, so here's the two trade-offs that we're doing. The way it works right now, I think it's actually better. I'm convinced. So the way it works right now, the build system doesn't know. It doesn't have a dependency on the knowledge of what zig build exe default is. So in other words, whatever default, if you leave build ID on as the default, then zig build exe here will have it omitted, and so then you'll get the default there. And if you explicitly specify it, then you'll get an explicit command line argument, which is good actually, because it means that the build system, it means that you can change the default in the compiler, and then you don't have to change the default in the build system. It just inherits the default. So actually, I think I like it. I had to talk myself through that one. So I think this is actually good as is. I'm gonna merge it. Hopefully it didn't bit rot too much. What's going on in this commit here? Oh, this one. Okay. Yeah, I think this is just a nice merge. I think this is ready to go. All right, well, thanks for your patience on this one. Nice commit. This needs a release notes. Okay, I have a favor to ask. Jan, whatever your name is. Would you please edit your comment and add release notes? Please. So basically just tell people that they can use the new flags. You don't have to, but if you do, you'll be more likely to get your work featured in the release notes. Hey, I'm aware of this one. Yeah, this basically this issue is the last issue that we're blocking on before we want to release the bug fix version 0.14.1. So I don't think I'm gonna work it out on the stream because I need to be able to concentrate in order to fix it probably. But yeah, pretty much that's like the last thing on our agenda before we do the bug fix release. Okay, so that was pretty good. Let's keep an eye on the commits here, make sure nothing's breaking the CI. Sometimes when you merge older commits, they don't pass the CI. Okay, I'll take a look at this one. Let's see. Tended to close. Oh, this is Langref stuff? Okay. So this is the documentation for pack struct. Fields are arranged in the order declared. That is a redundant sentence. The backing integer has the same bit width as the field's total bit width. The backing integer is subject to the same rules. I agree with Million here. Let's look at this code. No underscores. This is not satisfying the style conventions in the same document that this is in. This is sus. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to merge this locally, and then I'm going to fix it up. All right? How long are we into the stream? Ooh, we're almost 2 hours. I think I'm going to probably call it at 2 hours. So we'll do about 20 more minutes. So this is how I merge stuff. Oh my god, this is such an annoying bug. Look at this stupid bug of GitHub. I'm scrolling down, okay? I'm going to click on this link. Look what's going to happen. Ready? What the hell? It just went up to the top, but now I can't. Let's go back to the bottom. Click the link. What the? It's so dumb. Okay, now it worked. This didn't happen before they converted their front end to React or whatever the fuck they just did. All right. So let's get this one going with the latest master while we take these Langref changes. Okay, the first thing I need to do is rebase on master. Okay. Then, do I want to respect these commits? No, definitely not. Let's squish all these. One, no. So yeah, let's do. Two. I think this is how I do it. Yeah. Okay, so we have that person's commit. And now I'm gonna have a git command where I compare master branch with this changes and my changes, which I'm about to do on top of it. Okay, so let's take a look now. Build langref. Okay, now all these changes, I believe, are nearby each other. Yes. So I think I can just look in only the packed struct section. So let's do or I just want Firefox, I think. Okay. So I'm just going to look at this critically and then kind of just do whatever changes I feel might be nice. Wait. Oh, these changes are also to... Wait, what is this? MMIO? I see. I just have a subset of Git that I know really well. And it's a very small subset of Git, but I'm very comfortable with that. I think that's pretty much what everyone does. The most complicated Git thing that I've done is delete the entire directory and then clone it again. Have I ever tried jujutsu? No, but that is one of my vocabulary words for this week. Jujutsu. Is it that one? Yeah, I got it. Nice. Okay, let's read this. This section is longer than I thought it would be. Damn. Yeah, I'm using FCITX5. Okay, let's see how I like this. Unlike normal structs, packed structs have... I'm going to try and make this more like a language reference and less like a colloquial thing, which is a different style than I started the document with. I don't know how I feel about this bulleted list. I think the bulleted list should just be examples of types that are allowed inside of it. So let's edit with those things in mind. Packed structs are like enums are based on the concept of interpreting, interpreting integers differently. The same packed struct all packed structs backing integer which is implicitly determined by the total bit count fields or explicitly specified via each field of a packed struct is interpreted logically as the logical sequence of bits ranged from least to most significant. Packed structs have okay, now this list is just going to be the allowed field types. Somebody clearly just took my bulleted list of field types and then just added a bunch of unrelated bullets to it. This sentence is reasonable. These operations are not atomic. Where's our table of operators? There it is. This is missing packed structs. What else is packed struct support? That's okay for now. Backing integer can be inferred or explicitly provided. Okay, I'll come back to that in a second. Yeah, I'm reaching the end here. I think about 2 hours is good, but let's try and get this one merged and then we'll be done. Okay, I think I'm fine with this. Backing integer can be inferred, explicitly provided. Okay, that's a pretty good sentence. Zig allows the address to be taken of a non-byte field. Good. Okay, now let's evaluate this. Pack structs can be used to interact with memory mapped input-output. A misleading sentence because the bit shifts are not atomic, which is common in embedded applications. A pointer of the correct alignment and address to a pack struct can be constructed to facilitate manipulation of bit packed registers without arduous, bad word for technical documentation, bit shifting. Let's look at this example. Line 1? Why would it be a line 1? This is, I think, a really bad example. I'm sorry. GPIO register has a line 1 because it's a U8, so this doesn't need to go there. What is this talking about? Register address? Okay. Raw pointer. I think I get what this is trying to say. Let me just change this example. Hey, how did the IO hearing go? Hey, pretty good. We got a nice demo in a branch, and I'm working on updating a reader and writer to become interfaces. And that's the next step. And then we need to do restricted function pointer types and make sure that the predictions we made about the benefits that we'll bring are correct. And then I'm going to try converting some of my side projects to using the IO abstraction and see how it goes. And then probably need to do some Windows work, figure out if it works well with IO, what is it called, completion ports. And then it might be time to try and do a merge and a master. But yeah, it's a bit of a journey, but if everything works out, I think it's going to be quite lovely to program event-driven stuff in Zig, actually. And more importantly, it will be possible to create packages that work in multiple environments, which is something that we don't often see in a lot of languages. Okay, I'm gonna just change this example. How about what about an actual example? Do I have an actual example? What about this one? Wait, no, not this one. That's old pack struct syntax. I should pick a real example. I don't know. I'll keep your example. Okay, but the point is that you don't want to do raw pointer dot pio 0 equals true. Bad. That's the point. What you want to do is construct your new states and then update it all at once. So let's reword this. I do like this, so spelling it all out in addition to having the acronym, that's nice. Beware using field access syntax. Instead of field access on volatile pointers, got a link everywhere. Instead of field access on volatile pointers, construct a fully formed new value and then write okay. I think I've rescued the description here. New states is a good word. Let's get rid of that. Raw pointer. Sans IO protocols. What's that? Hello, hello. Okay, I think that solves the problem. It is bad. It's bad because it is going to try to load from the pointer, and you actually want to only store. And it might not even support loading, and you can't store only one Boolean. You have to store the entire integer. So you need to construct the new states, and then you need to overwrite the whole pointer. Oh, hey, Nectron. All right, let me read this to myself. Field access and assignment can be understood as a shortcut for a bit shift on the backing integer. These operations are not atomic, so beware of using field access syntax when combined with memory mapped input-output. Instead of field access on volatile pointers, construct a fully formed new value first, then write that value to the volatile pointer. Okay, that sounds good to me. So let's see how we're doing. Looks like it's still built. So we have operators. By the way, Snectron, did Ali tell you that we came up with this idea for Spear V types? What am I looking for? Equality. Pack struct, nice. Thank you. Pack structs like enum, comma. Are based on the concept of interpreting integers differently. All pack structs have a backing integer, which is implicitly determined by the total bit count of fields or explicitly specified. Pack structs have a well-defined memory layout, exactly the same API as their backing integer. Each field of a pack struct is interpreted as a logical sequence of bits arranged from least to most significant. Allowed field types. Okay. This is overly verbose. How is the compiler supposed to know what type is special? What do you mean? Why does it need to know? The compiler has hard-coded dependency on the standard built-in namespace. Blurry Cat, I did see your comment, and I thought that you were talking about this one, which I had already fixed. So then when someone else repeated it, I was like, oh, I must have missed something. So thank you. It actually was because 2 people said it. So. Okay, and then this stuff's pretty much the same, and then now the new thing is field access and assignment can be understood as shorthand for bit shifts on the backing integer. Those operations are not atomic, so be aware using field access syntax when combined with memory mapped input-output. Instead of field access on volatile pointers, construct a fully formed new value first, then write that value to the volatile pointer. Okay, now it's a good example. Okay. So now that I've made some changes, now we push to this person's fork of zig. Works as long as I didn't uncheck the allow commits for maintainers. There we go. So now I've pushed, and now this is wrong. There we go. We both get credit. It's a collaboration. And now I mark it as auto merge. Okay, well, there we go. I guess I'll evaluate whether it closes these after we merge it. Okay, thanks for your contribution. Hope that was okay for you. Well, I think that's kind of where I'm going to call it. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out with me for a bit. Was a little less of a chore, less lonely to merge pull requests with everyone hanging out, so thank you. I don't think that if I did only merging pull requests on Fridays on stream, I think the number would only go up, but hey, it's at least a little bite out of the pie, isn't it? Well, thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time. Happy Friday. Ooh.